brought you to San Diego?
I was in Texas and I was looking for a career in something that mathematics could do, and I was throwing my resume all over the place. I thought New York was where I always wanted to go, and so I was going to New York, and my sister was just moved to San Diego to finish her PhD, and was at school one day and she saw a job posting for a financial planning position, and she emailed me and she's like, I saw this job posting, it sounds just like you. And I read it, I'm like, it absolutely does. So I submit my resume, I put my cover letter, and the fun part about the story is the person who did the job posting was my husband.
What? Okay, obviously, as the story progresses.
So my cover letter to him is like, Dear Christopher Lindley, my name's Shavon, and I have this, all this, and I still have it.
My last name will be your last name someday.
And I found that cover letter, I still have it.
God,
and it's so cool. So he basically recruited me.
And then recruited you.
Right. So, anyway.
Cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
He found me and brought me out here, and that's how it happened.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. And so how many years in total have you been in that industry segment now then?
10.
10. Awesome. Very cool. Good. So let's take a step into Women Evolution. When did you start the organization, and what's the focus of the organization?
The organization began in 2009, and it really was a natural progression of where I was at in my career. I had built a successful financial planning business. I had a husband, or I was just getting ready to get married at that time, and I'd had male mentors my whole career helping me navigate, move up, and progress. And at that point, I wanted to continue my career, but I knew having a family was important.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I said, you know what, I need to find a female mentor. Someone who has been there, that has a family, that has a career. And so I started looking, and I couldn't find anyone.
Wow.
And at the time, I had been interviewing CEOs on my radio show and had been learning their stories, and I decided to take it a little bit further. I'm like, okay, if I can't find anyone around me, maybe I'll go to the top female executives that I can find. So I started researching Fortune 1000 companies. I found a handful of senior VP or higher females that had a family and a career that would be willing to talk to me.
Yeah.
And let me just interview them and find out their story and how did they make it. And it was such a wonderful experience because I heard these women talk about such unique ways and how they were able to navigate this long career. But the most interesting part is that every single one of their stories talked about how there were these critical points along their career where they learned this skill set. And it was that skill set that let them know how to take the next step in their career and to move forward. And those skills that each one of these women discovered on their own throughout 25 plus year careers were the same.
Interesting. Are you willing to share those with us?
Well, some of them, are, when to negotiate a salary, how to do that, when to be loud and when to be quiet in a meeting, how to handle a difficult conversation with a male colleague, how to support other women in the workplace. So all of these things that were moments in their mind that were very memorable.
Yeah.
And they knew that when they learned that skill or when they saw someone else who did it well and they were able to change, then they were able to, take another step further as a leader. And I knew at that moment that I had learned something that I couldn't be the only one to have just benefited from this information. We needed to find a way to make this available for all women right now, today.
Great.
And mentorship is the solution.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when someone shows you how to do something, you can try it. You have someone to bounce ideas off of. They're giving you suggested language. They're saying, this is what worked for me, you should try that. And that will work perfectly. But the problem is we have a numbers issue. There's just not enough female executives out there to mentor all of us that need it.
Yes.
So that's really where the idea of Women Evolution came from, is to create a scalable, cost-effective mentorship model that women can use, that can teach them the core critical skills that they need to take ownership of their career.
Awesome. I love it.
For me, I know that we will have true change for women in the workplace when women can support and champion other women. And that's actually the final skill that we teach in our 6-week program, is how to own your evolution. Because that's what we say is that's the final step, is how we can do that. And exactly how do you do that? And what does that look like? And does it take a lot of time? And what steps do I have to do to make that happen? And so that was a very important, critical step. And once we can figure that out, I think we're set.
I agree. I love it. That's awesome. Great. So tell us a little bit about this 6-week program. How are you delivering that? What types of folks are involved in these programs?
So what we talked about, mentorship is the solution. And the fact that there's not enough female mentors to mentor everyone that needs it, we needed to find a way to make it scalable. Okay. So we took one of these executive females that I interviewed, and we asked her if she would mentor a young aspiring female from another company, and teach her these 6 skills over one a month for 6 months.
Okay.
And we filmed it. We created a documentary about their story. And you're watching a experienced female teach someone based upon their experience. So she's talking about how she did this and how she might suggest ways for her to change some of the things that she's having issues with in the workforce. And then you're watching a young aspiring female that hopefully a lot of us would connect to, try and go and create change. And it's amazing because it's so evident how easy change can happen when you just start to try something a little bit different, and when you're given guidance by someone. Because she was in the same situation that you're talking about. She didn't feel connected to anyone in her company. She felt like everybody was aggressive and she's not aggressive, and was more emotional and just didn't feel like she fit into the culture of the company. And even when she asked for a female mentor within her company, the woman said, "I don't mentor people at your pay grade."
Ooh,
stings. And so, but instead of being, obviously she was upset about it, but she started looking for more resources, and that's when she found at that time we were doing a nationwide search to find the mentee to be mentored by our mentor.
Oh, perfect.
And she submitted her video and won the contest and all of that fun stuff. So that's how that started. But you get to watch her journey through this process, and by being able to capture that, it lets all of us to, even if we do have a mentor, or if we don't, we can still experience and learn skills from mentors and from women that we can connect to, in a way that you can actually see how to do things and be told how to do them versus just reading an article or something along those lines. So of course there's course material that goes along with it that's designed to have the woman be able to assess themselves, give them ideas of how to create change, and then to track that change over time.
Oh, great. Awesome. And any size of company that you typically work with, or does it matter?
No, I mean any size will benefit from the program, but really we're looking at anything from small, medium, and even some large companies are taking a look at it at this time. So which is just interesting and surprising, because we thought the large companies, they have the budget, they maybe have more formal mentoring programs, and this does not replace that. It actually is in addition to that, because again, we're not trying to replace mentorship, we're just trying to find a better way to get it scalable and where every woman can participate.
Great.
So individuals, I know you asked a second ago how people might want to get involved. So you would just go to womenevolution.com, and you can actually watch and download one of the lessons completely for free. So you can watch a whole section on owning your voice, and see exactly what it looks like. We're not trying to hide anything. We won't. And if it calls to you, it speaks to you, then an individual can purchase it. But typically, we try and work with companies to get it involved.
That makes sense. Last question for you, Shavon. What's on the horizon? What are some of the goals that Women Evolution has?
Obviously, the main objective is to try and get it in as many companies as possible. This year, we're looking at trying to reach 6,500 women with our program, and this year, and being able to increase that to about 20,000 in the next 3 years.
Awesome.
So that's the main goal and intention.
Yeah.
Also have this baby.
Yes, congratulations.
And navigate that process. This is something I've been wanting for a while, and was focused on building business instead. And so now it's a good time to experiment and have built a business up enough where I can take a little bit of time, but also have people there to help make sure the company still
Yes.
rolls right along.
Keeps going, yes. And boy or girl, or no? That's a surprise. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. I love that. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, congratulations,
Thank you.
Shavon. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.